Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and here's another Total Drama vlog going over another episode of Total Drama Island 2023, and the episode in this case is titled Severe Aches and Pains. Again, there's a part of me, given what happens in the episode, that wants to say that pun's kind of good, but oh man, that's a pretty rough egg pun. Like, whenever I make a review of this, I'm probably gonna have that one Teen Titans Go clip about the stork making all the egg puns there, because I think that's fitting, because a lot of egg puns, bad, just a lot of bad egg puns. I'm sorry. I have a couple good ones, but most of them I think are kind of bad. Sorry if I'm moving my mouse a little bit, because I took notes again, because I wanted to make sure I was giving as comprehensive a look back on the episode as I possibly could. But yeah, here's my review on Severe Aches and Pains. So we open with Priya again training Millie in the challenge, and then we just kind of instantly get the horn that signals that the challenge is starting, and I'm like, wow, we're just jumping straight into it. Okay, I guess if you're going to cut straight to the chase, as long as you got enough material for it, I'm okay with that, because I've made gripes in the past about certain episodes not really having a sufficient plot to sustain an episode. So as long as they do, I'm okay with that. And they actually kind of start us off with a bang, because they reveal at the very beginning of this challenge that the teams are over. Dunzo. The teams are all merged. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is really early for that, actually. Even Priya is kind of amazed at the fact that the teams have merged at this point, because her parents are obviously super fans, so it's not, they usually merge around the halfway point, which we haven't even reached yet. I mean, I guess you could argue we had, because we're like episode 7 out of, I think, 13, but you know what I mean, like when you're at half the cast. So because there were 16 players, you'd think that at 8 players is when they merge, but no, at 10. And I do like keeping the audience on their toes like that. I think it's a pretty decent change, and I was curious to see what they were going to go with that. We see Wayne and Raj still bonding, with Raj being very happy about the kiss that he and Bowie had. Yeah. And of course, Wayne trying to kind of coax it out of him. Somebody in a previous vlog said that the word I was looking for as far as how I would describe Wayne's behavior is pushy. Yeah, that is pretty much what I'm going for. Again, I know he means well. I know he's not trying to be like anything bad with his friend. He's 100% supportive. I do still say, let Raj come out when he wants to. Because at that point, I do worry that if you are insistent on a friend coming out, it becomes less about them and more about you. And I don't know if I agree with that. Again, that's how I'm seeing it. I don't know how other people might see it. I do at least think, again, that maybe Wayne should just be patient in this whole ordeal. But anyway, yeah, teams dissolve. Julia's happy about that, because that means that, you know, there's more targets now instead of just her. I'll be fair, her chances were kind of slim on her team. And if I were in her shoes, assuming that we were going to do like a tribal lines thing like Survivor often does, I would 100% jump ship to their team. They don't do that here, which on one hand I'm kind of cool with, because that's kind of repetitive. That's one thing I actually do like a lot about the Total Drama seasons, is that the team divides mean jack freaking squat. It's like in the first season of Survivor, when that came out, I think they were hoping for it to be a very individual game, and it would just progress like that for many, many seasons onward. But in literally the first season, the first big tribal-based alliance was formed that dominated the game. And I love Sarah Borneo, but that did set the tone for every season afterwards. And I bet people might be wondering what would have happened had people been voting on a more individual level, and not specifically because, oh, we were all on the same team, let's just stick with that. And Total Drama as a series is the answer for that, because I don't think that happens ever anymore. Hey, we were all on the same team, let's just stick together. No, because they were on the same team, they got on each other's nerves even more and more and more. And I like that they kind of keep going through with that. So again, if this were Survivor, I know what Julia would probably do. Jump ship, flip to the other side, but that's not really how these games work here, so she's got to be a little feistier and a little scrappier in her strategy, which I'll get to, but she does kind of. So the challenge in this case is to find the eggs of a giant bird called a cassowary, which I had to look up. Yeah, real bird, but not a bird I'd ever seen before. And a bizarre moment for me that I was not expecting was Ripper was talking about how they all had watched this kids show that had that bird on it, and it was really big. And he's like, "What is that bird again? I don't remember what his name was." And I'm just like, I can't help it. I love that little reference to Sesame Street because I'm not sure why. It's like that. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm happy that we got it. So the players, despite now being individual, Chris suggested to the players that because this is a pretty hard challenge, to team up, even though only one person can still win immunity. So it's a little counterintuitive, but at the same time, for safety's sake, it's probably a good policy there. We see Priya and Millie team up. That makes sense. Wayne and Raj makes sense. Emma and Bowie, they pair up. That makes sense. Initially, Chase tries getting with Emma. Doesn't work. We see Ripper get with Z, who, by the way, Z at the start of the episode, I think he gets hiccups, I think, because when that horn goes off at the beginning, he spits the soda out. I'm going to guess a little bit of it went down the wrong pipe or something because, yeah, he has hiccups, and that becomes a significant plot point for the rest of the episode. And, yeah, Ripper's planning to take full advantage of that because he's like, yeah, the cassowary will probably go after him first because he gives him away a little bit more with those hiccups. Again, I gotta go with the nickname I gave to Ripper a while back. Smart tactic, dick move. And of course, that leaves Julia with Chase, who Julia hits the ground running with strategizing, like I was just saying a minute ago, she should do, by trying to get everybody to go against Chase, actually. And she would probably already have Emma's vote right off the bat. She tries making a deal with Ripper about getting him out. That's a pretty good plan, too. And she's going to try and keep Chase close, so she can just keep tabs on him, I guess. And she even makes like a fake deal with him that, hey, that Julia can help Chase get Emma back. She doesn't mean anything about that. She thinks that Chase is a loser. Good. Me too. And, yeah, I admire how, like, full force she's going in this season. Like, please, more of that, Julia. She also even proposes a final 2 to Chase, which she does not mean for a second. I love that as well. Realistically, though, if it were based on either being a competition or being based off of jury likability, I would take my chances with Chase because, yeah, I'm confident that he could be beaten by most people. So as the teams all split up and do their thing, we see Wayne continue to kind of pushy with Raj. Again, I don't really know if I'm okay with that. We see that Ripper and Z find a cassowary pretty quickly. And Ripper instantly notices that the hiccups that Z is giving aren't making him a target in the way he's thinking, but they do apparently mimic, or they're mistaken at least, for a mating call with the cassowary, which he's like, okay, that's a plan I can work with. We cut back and forth, by the way, between a bunch of the other pairs as well. We see Ripper and Bowie, sorry, not Ripper, but Raj and Bowie, I meant. Raj and Bowie meet up again. Emma gives them a little bit of time to talk, and I love this scene too. We see Raj and Bowie say that they like that kiss with each other. Bowie does say that, hey, despite that, it's a competition. Things are going to probably get a little ugly still. Let's put this on hold until the competition's over. But once it's over, let's go out. I love that. Reminds me a lot of, well, Emma and Noah and Radonko's Rays. I love their chemistry too and everything. But Emma's like, it's messing with my head, my feelings for you. I want to go out with you, but now is not the time. Let's wait until we're out of this competition and then we'll try that. And I do respect that. She's not saying, like, I don't want it. She does. She just has her priorities in place. I'm okay with that. As long as it doesn't screw up the chemistry completely. And in both these cases, I don't think it really does. So, kudos there. Emma, of course, saw all this, and I like that she's respectful about this. For the most part, afterwards she does ask Bowie for some details, which Bowie's more than happy to give. Weirdly, despite that, I find that a little more respectful because it's less a confirmation from Raj and more just speculation, but harmless speculation, I guess. It's a little weird that if Bowie's all for apparently telling Emma that he and Raj kiss, and I'm like, I don't blame you for that entirely, and I'm sure some people would probably catch on to that anyways, but I don't know. I still don't think that you should be giving this information about Bowie without his consent, unless he is okay with it. Maybe he is. I don't know. But again, that's maybe getting a little bit heavy with that discussion. At the very least, I don't think Raj is scared outright of the idea of coming out. If I had to guess, again, much like what Bowie said, Raj might just be putting his head in the game as best as he can, and he can't focus on stuff like this right now. Because otherwise, it sounds like he's okay with coming out. I mean, he already kind of came out to your entire Canadian audience, so what really would be the harm in this? I'm not really sure. But again, as long as it's Raj's choice, that's what I care more about. What else? We see Emma continue to complain to Bowie about how much of an awful boyfriend Chase was. And speaking of the devil, Julia and Chase come up, and Julia splits these pairings up. So now she goes off with Bowie, and Emma is stuck with Chase, which she's just not a fan of whatsoever. Julia makes a plan with Bowie. Hey, let's grab 2 eggs and tie it, and then we'll just each vote out Chase. We see Raj finds eggs, and then Millie and Priya find eggs, but they all get chased by cassowaries, and at least 2 different outcomes. We have Priya and Millie get stuck between, well, a rock and a hard place. And Priya gives the plan, hey, let's split up because that cassowary can't chase both of us. Priya gets in there, is able to get out first, but Millie doesn't. I forgot to mention this plot point, but Millie mentioned at the beginning that she's actually scared of birds, and Priya's like, okay, I can make up for that with us. And we even get a funny little insight that Priya thinks that, hey, maybe my parents were a little messed up for raising me the way they did. And I'm happy that they addressed that, because even I'm like, yeah, as much as I love total drama, if it were a show that I could actually compete on, I would not raise my kid like this. Even if they had good intentions, it's not the best way to raise a kid. But yeah, Priya is able to get away, but Millie doesn't. I'm assuming because she's, terrified with fear. So Priya actually comes back and saves her by imitating a bigger bird to scare off the cassowary. And yeah, they're able to get to the finish line in time, and I think that's really cool. I love the friendship that Millie and Priya have. Of course, when they get, well, actually, there's a little more before I talk about them getting to the finish line, because we see, first off, after Priya saves her, Priya says, well, you would have done the same for me. And in confessional, Millie's like, eh. Now, I would say, wow, that's terrible. I don't think it's terrible, because I'm pretty sure, again, it stems from Millie's fear of birds. Like, that's me being optimistic, but I think that's more likely what's going on. I don't think she's, like, saying, oh, I wouldn't look out for my friends. I'm sure she would, to an extent. It's just, in this situation, it'd be a pretty tough call for her. It'd be a really strong move for her to, like, overcome a fear like that so quickly. I think it'd be amazing if she did, but I'm not going to demand that of her either. So, hey, I give a little leeway to that character choice for Millie. So we see Ripper have Z put on a bird costume to sway the cassowary. He gives these, like, sensual moves, which again, don't do that. Do not do that with Ripper, please. He's disgusting. Just don't do it. But of course it works. Z gets the cassowary eggs. And Ripper again abandons him. Smart tactic, dick move. If we had another heroes versus villains season, there's no question Ripper's on the villains team, because he just, again, like, I don't care, like, these are smart moves, but it is just putting anybody he works with in the most peril possible. I would not trust him with my life at all. Ripper actually makes it to the finish line first, but he takes his egg and throws it on the ground like a football, which hatches the egg. I guess, thank goodness, the egg was hatched, otherwise it would have been like a full embryo on the ground. And because of that, Chris denies him the win because, hey, he didn't actually give the egg to Chris. You don't earn immunity. Yes, yes. Enforce those rules like a good host should. And that is when Millie and Priya make it to the finish line, and they do that thing where after you, that kind of thing. First it's Millie telling Priya, hey, you got our eggs, you take immunity, and then Priya's like, no, like I want you to have it. So then Millie takes it. To which apparently that stuns Priya. You literally gave her permission. Like, what are you mad about? Well, I wanted you to be. She already gave it to you first. Okay, I'm not gonna say this is a terrible moment between those two. I'm just gonna say, like, you really have nothing to be mad about, Priya. She already was looking out for you as a friend as is. I don't see what this really would have added. But whatever. We see Julia and Bowie find the eggs, but Julia takes advantage of Bowie by pushing him to the ground so she can try to beat him to the finish line. It doesn't matter because Millie's already immune. We see Emma accuse Chase later on of splitting her and Bowie up. That reminds me. Chase, again, tries getting back with Emma earlier before the challenge actually starts, and she has to spell it out very clearly for him that we are over, and we've been over for a long time, and he still hasn't gotten it. There's nothing really funny about this gag. The writers can cut it, please. So yeah, when she accuses Chase of doing that, my first thought is, Chase is not smart enough to do something like that. Julia, yes. Chase, no. So, don't give him that much credit. They eventually go into a cave where a bunch of cassowaries live, and there's this candy bar that Julia gave to Chase to try to use to sway back Emma. I was almost expecting it to be, like, spiked or something. Apparently no. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of that was until we get to this scene. I, in general, like this episode about as much as the other ones, but if I had to pick if it goes high tier or low tier, I'm not gonna lie, lower tier is where it's more aiming to, specifically for one moment. And ironically, it's not the Ripper stuff. I mean, I don't like that either, but like I've gotten used to that. No, it's when Chase is going to offer half a candy bar to Emma, but her half falls inside the nest that they're hiding in, so he apologizes for that. And Emma mistakes that for him apologizing about the brakes that he cut, risking her life. And she even kisses him and they agree to get back together. What? 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 Where do I begin with this? So first off, he pretty much risks your whole freaking life for a stupid video prank, and all you wanted was an apology? Okay, granted, that is the least you should get, but that's all? No, a restraining order, or even, like, having other friends, like, teach him a lesson. If you other cartoon characters, they can do that. It's like, this is all you wanted? Seriously, from him? Okay, the episode gives us hints that she misses the idea of being in a relationship, and all I'm thinking to myself is, oh my god, is this a Lapis and Jasper thing from Steven Universe, where Lapis is like, no, I kind of want to be back with Jasper. No, stay away from her, please. Same thing with Emma and Chase. It's like, But yeah, beyond that, she's really that dense to actually assume that that's what he was apologizing. He doesn't even say what he was apologizing for. She just assumes what he was going for. It's like, no, it's, oh my god, no. So yeah, that moment alone dragged us down quite a bit because it is so stupidly forced into this plot. Oh my god. Moving onward, we see Raj try to take on the cassowary that was chasing him, which I think is pretty cool. Wayne comes in to save him, and they both fall off the cliff. And at that point, Raj officially comes out to Wayne, and Wayne, as you expect, is supportive. Okay, we got to that point. All's good with y'all. Good. Although I'm speaking logically here. They say Raj comes out pretty coherently, but they're bumping their heads all over these rocks. And my first thought was, no, I don't think you would even get to the confessional at that point, because, just, ding, my leg, that stuff. Oh, good gravy. But at least it's a nice moment between those two. Bowie, so after Emma and Chase get back to the finish line, it's revealed they're back together, which Julia is surprised as heck about. You and me both. And even Bowie gives a confessional saying, after you've scraped poop off your shoe, don't go back and step in the same poop. I'll be fair, that analogy makes sense. It sounds kind of weird, but I've heard weirder. Look, I watch a lot of modern Survivor. You will not believe the number of ridiculous, stupid, convoluted analogies I'm often hearing from that show. This, at the very least, makes sense. It just sounds a little weird, but I'm not questioning what the heck they're talking about. Like, I get it. And it's good advice. Don't repeat these same obvious mistakes after you're rid of them like that. I digress. Wayne and Raj come back and they're beaten up, battered. I'm amazed they got back up from that cliff. Even Deadpool would be like, give me about a day, please. So we get to the marshmallow ceremony where Chef completely throws Ripper under the bus for spiking the egg on the ground, which everyone's offended by. Good. And yeah, in the end, there's no vote off. Instead, Chef and Chris knows how badly dinged up Wayne and Raj are, and he decides to medevac the two. Again, I love that these two chefs actually care about these contestants to a degree. Yes, torture them a little bit, but in the end, they see them as actual people to take care of, to try and actually, look out for the well-being of. Massive improvement there. And in general, I like most of this ending. Again, I'm sad to see Wayne and Raj go, but at the very least, there's a satisfying ending between Raj and Bowie in this season. And we also get a couple other funny moments, like Z reveals that after he got away from the cassowary that he seduced, if you will, that he gave the cassowary a fake phone number. That's just funny. And Ripper reveals later on that, why was everybody mad about me spiking the egg there? My dad spiked me and my brothers all the time, and two of us came out fine. Doesn't that explain so much about Ripper? And then Wayne and Roger medevaced, and they do that while singing "Oh Canada." Something I don't think I mentioned when I was talking about how much I like this cast in the first vlog. I love how ridiculously Canadian this cast is. I'm not sure, I'm not sure why I love that, but it's one of those things where it's like, it gives more of that unique flavor to the show, which I absolutely adore. I love Big Brother Canada, by the way. I think that show's great, and Canada, make more reality. I know they have an amazing race, Canada. I know there's a Betrayers Canada. I haven't seen those yet. I'm gonna assume they're great, especially because in modern Survivor, when you have Canadian contestants, they're usually knocking it out of the park in terms of entertainment and in terms of how well they can play the game. So, yes, more of that, please. And yeah, that concludes Severe Eggs and Pains. Again, I really hate to put this in such a near the bottom, because most of it's pretty good. I like a lot of what they do, but again, just the whole Emma and Chase thing is so stupid. Why? A couple small moments with Ripper and a few nitpicky moments. I don't know. It's not the worst. It's still better than Jurassic Fart, but I just don't see why we're doing this with these two. Don't put Emma and Chase together. Duncan and Courtney deserve to be together more than these two. And think about that. I'm not saying that they actually deserve to be together. What I am saying is, I at least understand why you put them together at all. Emma and Chase, no, nothing explains why these two go together. So there's that. So hopefully the next episode doesn't give as stupid a plotline as that. And I will see you all in the next vlog. Take care.